Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for checking the video out today. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover here today. So we are going to dive right into these topics, starting with PSVR 2 and a new trailer that Sony put out here. Coming from Push Square, they say PSVR 2 is Sony's next major hardware launch, coming sometime in 2023, and it's beginning to ramp things up, as well as seeing snippets of promising games for the virtual reality headset like Horizon Call of the Mountain. We've recently had some hands-on impressions. Now the platform holder is beginning to push the new tech with dedicated ads, and it highlights all the bells and whistles brilliantly. The video communicates the various fancy features of PSVR 2. These include a high-resolution HDR display, eye tracking technology, foveated rendering, which works with the eye tracking to prioritize visual detail in your line of sight, and a wide 110-degree field of view. It goes on to pick out the touch detection tech in the Sense controllers, as well as haptic feedback in both the controllers and the head-mounted display, 3D audio, and adaptive triggers. So I watched this new PSVR 2 ad, and I have to say, it got me pretty excited. I think that this advertisement was done really well. I think it's easily the best PSVR 2 ad that we've seen so far, and I think at this point, people are just eager to know, how much is this headset going to cost? What is the release date? And most importantly, what are some other titles that we can expect to be there at the launch of this new VR headset? But yeah, whoever Sony has editing these advertisements and these trailers for them, they do a very good job. Sony should consider giving them a raise because this was a very impressive trailer, that's for sure. Moving on from that though, we are talking about Sony's Shuhei Yoshida and what he has to say regarding PlayStation Plus Premium and Extra. Reading from Push Square, it says Sony's indie evangelist Shuhei Yoshida has said that the company is always looking at ways to add and expand the catalog of PS Plus Extra. As the more expensive tier continues to grow following its launch earlier in the year, the executive explained that the platform holder looked at the library of content available in its defunct subscription PS Now and worked to incorporate new games it could wholeheartedly recommend. This, according to Yoshida, includes approximately 100 indie games with more to come. There are great indie games available when you go up from PS Plus Essential to PS Plus Extra, he exclaimed. PS Plus Extra is really great value for the money. We are always looking at adding or refreshing the catalog so that people can discover new titles or games they never got a chance to play. Yoshida also touched upon PS Plus Premium, explaining it's more about cloud streaming and classic games. He was particularly impressed to see Ape Escape, a PS1 game he served as the producer on, being among those promoted for the service's launch. But when asked specifically about Stray and whether more indie games would release directly into Sony's subscription, he explained that the firm is more focused on generating long-tail revenue for titles. And on top of that, Shuhei Yoshida also talked about indie developers and PlayStation VR 2 specifically. Coming from PlayStation Universe, Shuhei Yoshida, PlayStation's head of indies, told GI Live 2022 that indies are likely to take risks when it comes to PlayStation VR 2. Yoshida-san made it clear that independent studios have been eager to get to grips with the PSVR 2 hardware and name-dropped Tetris Effect creator Tetsuya Mizuguchi as one such developer. He says there are big games like Horizon Call of the Mountain and Resident Evil Village, and yes, they are amazing, but it's the indies, in my mind, that really take the risk because they want to make games on VR. Indies have been waiting for this next VR boom. Like Mizuguchi-san, the VR market is small, it's still growing thanks to Meta doing a great job of promoting the Quest, so more people are coming in and trying VR for the first time, but still, compared to console gaming, it's a subset in a growing market. So this is what Shuhei Yoshida had to say about PSVR 2 and indies specifically. It makes sense that he's going to focus on this because he is the head of indies, and I do think that it's been proven with PSVR 1 and just VR in general that indies are a very important component of virtual reality and the success of these headsets. A lot of indie studios and developers, what they're focused on is innovation. Seeing what they can do differently, not necessarily following the mold, and I think Shuhei Yoshida puts it well here where he says they're going to take the risks, and that's what we do see with a lot of indie developers and indie titles. They are the ones taking risks, trying very different things, trying unique things. Sometimes it works out, other times not so much, But I think we can all agree that in the indie space, you do certainly see more risk-taking, understandably so, than in the AA or especially the AAA space. So when it comes to PSVR 2, I'm in agreement with Yoshida here. I am very excited for games like Call of the Mountain and others, but I am also very interested in seeing what indie developers are going to be able to produce for this headset. So let me know what you guys think about that. Next up, I want to talk a little bit about how the PlayStation 5 is performing. We have the August 2022 NPD, and it's good news for PlayStation in general. So it says the good news continues to roll for the PS5, with NPD reporting that the console was August 2022's best-selling hardware platform in both unit and dollar sales in the US. This is specifically for the 4-week period between July 31st and August 26th. Last month, NPD reported that the PS5 was the top-selling console in the US this year. Matt Piscatella, the executive director and video game industry advisor for NPD Group, also shares in a long chain of tweets that the improved supply of the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles have helped boost video game hardware sales by 14% to $375 million compared to a year ago. In similar fashion to sales numbers from July 2022, both the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series also had double-digit percentage growth this month compared to a year ago. While the Switch still holds the top spot for the highest number of units sold in 2022, so far, the PS5 is number one in terms of revenue. So this is obviously a great sign for the PS5 and availability. We know that Sony isn't at that point yet where they are anywhere close to meeting demand, at least it doesn't seem that way, but they are certainly getting closer, and I think the most telling thing here is how we are seeing some serious growth compared to last year. When you are seeing the PS5 selling just a lot more in July of 2022 compared to July of 2021, I think it goes to show that the demand has not really dropped, but instead we are seeing the supply improve. And this is what Sony told us to expect. They said that they're not going to change their units that they are expecting to sell over the course of this fiscal year. And I speculated that the reason for this is because they are confident in the supply chain. They are confident that they are going to be able to, get more units out there. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing here. So I will continue to report on this month over month. We'll see if the PS5 comes out on top again next month. Moving to the final topic, though, we have some news regarding God of War Ragnarok. Reading from Gaming Bolt, it says this fall season looks incredibly packed, and Santa Monica Studios' God of War Ragnarok is perhaps the biggest release. But how big will it be in terms of installation size? PlayStation Game Size on Twitter revealed that on PlayStation 4, the action-adventure epic could be 90.6 gigabytes. Heavy emphasis on could, based on the game's download page being updated at the PlayStation Store's backend. Sony seemingly patched the users tool for determining download size back in March, so it's not confirmed. Day one updates usually increase the overall size, and none are detected thus far. It could also vary based on region, like Horizon Forbidden West. So while the current installation size on PS4 is possible, it may end up bigger in the long run. Interestingly, the user also noted that Ragnarok has potentially gone gold, so stay tuned for official confirmation in the coming weeks. So if we take a quick look at the PlayStation Game Size Twitter account, these are all things that they're coming out here and letting us know about. And the big thing that I've seen people focused on here is how, looking at how large this game is on PS4, potentially 90.6 gigabytes. Again, it's not officially confirmed, so it could be larger than that. It could be a little bit smaller than that. It's got people feeling pretty excited because we saw something similar happen with Horizon Forbidden West, where everybody anticipated that this game is going to be massive. And when you consider the fact that Horizon Forbidden West is an open world game, and it's a game where people have higher expectations because it's a sequel and it's also releasing on PS5, I think it lived up to that. I remember making a similar video for Horizon Forbidden West where I basically said, I think this is an indication that this game is going to be kind of colossal, right? And after playing through Horizon Forbidden West, putting 100 hours into it, platinuming the game, I can confirm that, yeah, it was absolutely a huge game. So looking at a game like God of War Ragnarok, it's not open world, but it's looking like it's going to be just as big. So this tells me that when it comes to the size, scope, and scale of this game and some of the things that we're going to experience, looking at this file size, assuming it doesn't shrink dramatically when we get official confirmation, it seems like it's going to be a massive game. We know that Santa Monica Studio and Sony have been relatively quiet with God of War Ragnarok. They've been playing it close to the chest. They did give us a new trailer recently, and I think that if anything is maybe giving us a better idea of just how massive this game is, I think it's that trailer. But when you take that trailer and you combine it with what we're seeing here, with the file size being almost 100 gigabytes, I don't want to say it's for sure going to be like one of the biggest games we ever play, but I think it's a clear indication that yes, this is going to be a massive title. And I think one of the talking points after God of War Ragnarok releases and people are playing through it and they complete it, it's going to be how, wow, this game was actually bigger than I was expecting. Now, that's not to say that bigger is always better, but when we see these massive download sizes for these games, these big AAA games coming from Sony, I think it's a safe bet to assume that there's a lot of content there. So there you go. That's the latest update I have for you when it comes to God of War Ragnarok. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.
For the old father!
Death can have me when it earns me.